Good evening, all. Sorry we're starting a little bit late. We'll wait for a few more people to sign on before we get started.
Hey, this is Bridget with Efficiency Maine. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, hi, Bridget.
Hi there.
Work. Yeah, so I'm going to introduce everybody. I'm waiting just a few minutes to see if some more people sign on, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay, so it is 9 after, so I guess we should get started. Hopefully some more people will join in as we move forward. Excuse me for my voice. And I apologize if my dog starts barking. I can't completely close off my room, so hopefully that won't happen, but I apologize ahead of time. Welcome to Be Comfortable, Save Money, Energy Efficiency, and You. It's put on by GrowSmart Maine, and the co-host is the town of Windham, Gretchen Anderson, who's the Environmental and Sustainability Coordinator for Windham. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are at GrowSmart Maine, and then we'll move on to introducing the two other speakers tonight, Bridget Doxey and Laura Seaton, and we'll start in on the agenda. There we go. GrowSmart Maine. The mission of GrowSmart Maine is to build prosperity without sacrificing the quality of life that defines Maine. That's our mission statement. And we focus on several things. We're always trying to make the link between community revitalization, economic development, and conservation of natural resources. And we do this in 3 ways. 1, by raising awareness. 2, by providing leadership. And 3, advocating for policies and projects. So there are kind of the 3 avenues in which we work here at GrowSmart Maine. And I am the Community Outreach Director here at GrowSmart Maine. Our 2 panelists, as I said before, are Laura Seaton, who's the Executive Director of Window Dressers, and Bridget Doxey, who is the Program Manager at Efficiency Maine. Laura, like I said, is the Executive Director of Window Dressers, a nonprofit that trains, supplies, and supports teams of community volunteers to build insulating window inserts that warm homes, lower home heating bills, and reduce carbon emissions. She lives in Searsport with her partner and 4 children. Bridget Doxey is the Program Manager with the Efficiency Maine Trust, working primarily towards advancing the Trust's low-income initiatives. She has experience in working with energy efficiency programs and utilities in both New York and in Maine. She has held positions with the United Way and completed service with the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, giving her a broad understanding of low-income households' energy usage. So I will introduce both of them after a little bit of Energy Efficiency 101. So I'm going to start on the agenda with why energy efficiency is important and kind of just the Energy Efficiency 101, stressing a little bit more heavily weatherization, but also talking about energy efficiency. And then Laura Seaton is going to talk about window dressers. We have a short 7-minute video that she did a Pecha Kucha or Pecha Kucha. I know there's a lot of different ways to say that. And then she will give some updates on the program. And then Bridget Doxey will talk about Efficiency Maine's residential programs. And I will finish off the presentation portion of the webinar with talking about how you could run an energy efficiency campaign in your town and why that would be important to do so. And then lastly, take some questions and answers from all of you. We could use the chat function, but let's, if you could put your questions in the Q&A section of the document, that would be great. So let's get started. So why is energy efficiency so important? One, it decreases energy expenditures. Two, weatherization promotes better health of its occupants, and energy efficiency reduces greenhouse gas emissions and increases climate change resiliency. New England homes, and why is it so important here in New England, and especially in Maine, is that New England homes consume more energy and spend more money on home energy than other parts of the U.S. As you can see in both these graphs, both consumption and expenditures are higher in New England than in the rest of the country. New England homes also consume more energy for home heating than any other purpose. So as you see, this pink space in this pie graph is space heating. So the energy used in New England is much greater than in the rest of the U.S., even though in all of the U.S., home heating and space heating is a large portion of the energy used in our homes. Mainers have the highest heating oil consumption per capita. You can see even higher than Vermont and New Hampshire. Maine is the darker blue, Vermont being the red, New Hampshire being kind of the lighter blue. Mainers also pay more for heating oil than any other energy expense. Again, the electricity is blue, the heating oil is the red color, and the gasoline is green. And that stayed fairly consistent over the years. By using energy efficiency measures, you can save hundreds of dollars on energy costs every year. And it's not just cost and energy savings that is important when we're talking about energy efficiency and weatherization. Buildings also impact the quality of life, as you've seen in this graphic. It can affect how we live in our houses, how healthy our houses are for us, and it can affect our overall quality of life. And in Maine, quality of life in the winter can look like this if you don't have properly insulated or weatherized homes. The weatherization, again, just to kind of recap, improves benefits from general health and comfort to your productivity within your house, your social health, upper respiratory health, asthma, and cardiovascular health. And moving on to the greenhouse gas emissions piece of this, residential energy use is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases from fossil fuels used by sector. Other than transportation, as you can see here, it's the next biggest. So there's two great websites, Explore Maine Household Carbon Footprints and Estimate Your Household Carbon Footprint. And I looked it up, and the annual household emissions in Windham is approximately 53.2 metric tons of CO for just the town of Windham. And you can significantly decrease your carbon emissions by using energy efficiency measures in your home and using less fossil fuels for energy. So this, again, would then reduce your CO2 emissions. So what is energy efficiency? We're talking about energy efficiency and how important it is and why is it important, but what actually is it? So Let's start by talking about what weatherization is. And like I said, I'm gonna emphasize weatherization, but I am going to try to bring in all the energy efficiency components. Let's start with the obvious question. What do you mean when you say weatherize your home? And at a high level, we're talking about a home improvement project, working with specialized contractors, focusing mainly on air sealing and insulation. Most of Maine's homes are old and cold. Maine has some of the oldest homes in the country. Does this look familiar to any of you? I hope not. If it does, then you have some serious weatherization issues. Extreme examples of heat loss to the attic are in this picture, and the ice dams happening as a result. Heat escapes from the attic, melts snow, water runs under snow to the roof edge where it refreezes. Ice dams and icicles form. Bottom line, no one has to put up with this, and there's cost-effective ways to deal with this through weatherization. So this is kind of a quick way to think about how buildings lose heat. There are two ways buildings lose heat: convection and conduction. Let's start with convection. All houses have leaks. Warm air pushes upward through the holes of the house. The top of the house pulls cold air through the holes at the bottom. There's a stack effect. More air leaks mean more stack effect. Air sealing, part of weatherization, can minimize the stack effect. Conduction is the fact that heat moves through solids, your walls and your floors, for example. Heat always goes from hot to cold. The higher the temperatures differential from the inside to the out, the greater the heat loss. Increased insulation can slow the heat loss, the heat transfer. Another piece of the weatherization puzzle. So, sealing air leaks is often the most cost-effective energy-saving tip you can take in most homes. This diagram from the EPA shows many common air leaks. Your contractor will help you hunt them down and seal them up. This is when you do an energy audit. It's helpful to think about the ABCs and prioritize your air sealing. A is the attic. Stop warm air from leaking out. B is the basement. Stop cold air being sucked in. C is the center level of the house. And this can be tough to work on and costly, but it is also important. The most air leakage happens in the attic and the basement, where the high and low pressures are. These spaces are also typically unfinished, so more cost-effective to work in. But ABC is a good rule of thumb. Trust your contractor to help you prioritize. Your contractor knows best what will be cost-effective and what your home needs most. Contractors would likely recommend some combination of cellulose, rigid foam board, and spray foam to reduce conductive heat loss through the attic, basement, and walls. The image on the left, cellulose being laid down in an attic. This contractor has removed all the old insulation, sealed as many air leaks as he could, and is now laying down a nice thick layer of cellulose. Top right, spray foam being installed in a basement. Air seals while it insulates. Often the resistance to heat loss per square inch, resistance value or R value. Bottom center, this woman is insulating rigid foam insulation, rigid foam insulation against her concrete wall basement. Bottom right, the contractor has determined that the insulation in this home's walls is settled or is non-existent. So he has removed a strip of clapboard from the exterior wall, drilled holes between each of the studs, and is pumping in cellulose to fill the wall cavity. So your home needs both of these. They need the sweater, which is the insulation, and the windbreaker, which is the air sealing. But air sealing and insulation are both critical and cost-effective, but they work best together. As I mentioned, I did talk heavily about weatherization, but there are other ways you can make your home more efficient by replacing light bulbs, finding a better way to heat and cool your house, or install a heat pump, install a tankless water heater, install efficient shower heads and toilets, use appliances and electronics responsibly, insulate windows, and change the way you do laundry. So using an energy efficient laundry machine, avoiding high temperature settings, and small measures like that. So next up, I am going to escape from here, and I'm going to show you a presentation. So this is Laura Seaton, who did a Pichacucha, or Pachacucha, I know everyone says that differently, about window dressers. So we're going to watch this short 7-minute video, and then Laura is going to describe and talk about some updates to window dressers currently.
Good evening.
Get this bigger, just 1 second.
In 2010, the Rockland UU Church realized that it was losing a lot of heat out of its leaky aluminum-clad windows. A friend of the church named Dick Cadogan offered to build insulating window inserts based on a design he learned from Topher Belknap of the Midcoast Green Collaborative in Damariscotta. Those windows are actually at the Belfast UU Church. The inserts were custom made to exactly fit the church windows. When members of the congregation felt how much warmer it was to sit near those windows, they asked if they could get inserts for their own homes. So Dick and his friend Frank Mundo measured their windows and custom built another 185 inserts in their basement workshop. Word spread, and the following year the duo took orders for 1,231 inserts. Frank spearheaded a community workshop on Islesboro where the people who ordered inserts came together to build them. It was like an old-fashioned barn raising. This workshop actually happened in Wells last year. Every year, the volunteer effort grew bigger. In 2012, they named themselves the Window Dressers, incorporated and gathered a board of directors. They purchased a computer-assisted saw and labeling machine and built over 2,200 inserts at 6 community workshops. Eventually, the window dressers moved into the Lincoln Street Center in Rockland and hired a small staff to manage the cut shop and the growing number of community workshops. Each community workshop is run by a team of local volunteers. Window Dressers provides the training, supplies, and support. The local team recruits community members who want inserts, measures their windows, and puts the measurements into our computer software. When all of the orders are in, they come pick up their pre-cut and labeled wood and all of the gear and supplies needed to complete the inserts. The local volunteers set up a pop-up community workshop in a donated space and bring dozens of volunteers together to complete about 300 inserts in a week. Here, Portland Mayor Ethan Strimling and Machia Savings Bank employee Danielle Violette assemble frames at a Portland community workshop. Once the frames are assembled, the first step is to run a layer of double-sided tape around the perimeter of the frame. Then a layer of polyolefin, the same type of plastic used to wrap your food at Hannaford, is stretched across the frame and adhered to the double-sided tape. We have fun at our community workshops. It's a social event with a purpose, and it brings together diverse neighbors who might not otherwise meet each other. A second layer of tape and a second layer of plastic create a sealed, insulating airspace around the wooden frame. Heat is applied to shrink the plastic and remove any wrinkles. We used to do this with hair dryers, but sometimes the volunteers got too close to the plastic and popped a hole in it. At this early workshop in Belfast, they even had to keep their hair dryers on separate circuits so they wouldn't pop the electrical circuits in the old system. Eventually, one of our volunteers invented a heat bridge. It's a PVC bridge that spans a table and has a heat gun set at just the right height. This prevents overheating and popping holes in the plastic. The heat bridge is one of our many creative inventions that allow us to make higher quality inserts more easily and in less time. Like this invention, the clear tape applicator allows us to apply a smooth and perfectly centered strip of sealing tape around the perimeter of the insert. This insert is being built at the Allagash Brewery in Portland. Allagash and Machaya Savings Bank are two businesses that have given us space to build and paid their employees to volunteer with us. The last step in completing this insert is applying a foam gasket around the perimeter. The foam ensures a tight fit and seals another airspace between the insert and your existing window. This is our board president, Diane Smith, applying the foam. Every day that we build inserts, our volunteers share a community meal. Some volunteers bring soup or bread or cookies to share with their fellow volunteers. Other times, local businesses donate food to our volunteers to support our effort. Sharing this meal together is another way that we build community. Because of our model of volunteer assembly, we are able to keep our prices very low for everyone who buys inserts. We even get grant funding and donations every year that allow us to give away about 25% of our inserts to low-income families free of charge. Once the inserts are completed, they are easy to install. They simply slide into place and are held there by friction. In the spring, they slide right back out and can be stored for use the next year. With proper care, they will last at least 10 years. Homeowners and renters love our inserts, but they've also been a great addition to many public buildings. Here, 3 volunteers install extra large inserts at the Belfast Free Library. Inserts are much more affordable than replacing windows altogether, and they also preserve historic character. In this picture, the white insert is installed in a pine window so you can more easily see how it works. The tight-fitting insert traps insulating air between the insert and the window behind it, as well as between the 2 layers of plastic and the insert itself. This about doubles the insulation value of the window and still lets in all the winter sunlight and allows you to enjoy the view. We expect to complete nearly 7,000 insulating window inserts at 32 community workshops across Maine this year, from Wells to Machias and Lewiston to Presque Isle. By the end of this heating season, we will have built a total of over 33,000 inserts, saving an estimated 1.2 million gallons of heating fuel from being burned. Our mission at Window Dressers is to warm homes, help the environment, and build community so that we can make life a little better for our neighbors now and keep our planet healthy for the next generation of Mainers. We would love for you to join us in our work. Thank you.
You're muted, but I think I'm supposed to speak next. I think you need to start my video, or I can just talk with no video.
The video didn't play?
When I click start video, it says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, you want to play it again?
Oh,
didn't
no.
just play?
I'm sorry. I was referring to my personal video, like my screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I think
you should do.
Screen sharing.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, you still need to start my video. So I'm just going to talk, and then if you can figure out how to start my video, that's great. And if not, I'll just talk with no video.
Should be all set.
Okay. Nope. So this is Laura Seaton. I'm just going to launch in on our update. So Window Dressers, due to the pandemic, we have had to suspend our operations for this season. Normally we are knee deep in the work of getting ready to build our inserts at this time of year. But when a homeowner expresses interest in getting inserts, the first step is that we send a pair of volunteers to their home to measure their windows with a precise laser measuring tool. so that we can custom build the inserts to the exact fit of their windows. And with this highly contagious pandemic going on, we don't feel that that's a safe thing to do for either our volunteers or for our constituents who would be receiving inserts. So we have suspended our season for this year. We're using it to do some internal developments and planning for next year. We're planning for a very strong reopening. Last year, we built about 8,000 insulating window inserts for 35 different communities. And next year, we're planning to do even more. So if you are interested in working with window dressers next year to get insulating window inserts, you can go on our website now, which is windowdressers.org, and fill out an inquiry form, and you'll be on the waiting list for next year. But if you're interested, if you don't have a community workshop in your area, and you're interested in taking this on as a project, as forming a team that will plan and hold a community workshop next fall in 2021, we are also working with new volunteers who want to start new teams starting now to plan for next fall. So you can also reach out to me through our website if you're interested in that opportunity. And if anyone has any questions about window dressers or insulating window inserts in general, please put them in the Q&A and I'm happy to answer them with my remaining time.
Thank you, Laura. Not sure, I did try to share, it said you were shared screen, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. So sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay.
It's always an adventure with Zoom.
I know. And I had it, you know, you think you have it all set up, but it never quite works out that way. Let me go back to sharing my screen so that I can get Bridget's presentation up here. So Bridget, if you want to just, if I don't catch your cue to move on, if you just want to let me know that you need the next slide, that would be great.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. And my name is Bridget. Doxy, you can hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just dig right into it. We can advance to the next slide. Jody did a nice job of explaining, you know, why energy efficiency is important. So Efficiency Maine, a lot of people get us confused with Electricity Maine. We are essentially a state agency. Many other states run their efficiency programs through utility companies. Maine does things a little differently, and we act as the third party. And so for any efficiency measure at home or at work, we've got a rebate or incentive for that project. So really what Efficiency Maine does is we incentivize you to make energy efficiency a priority by cutting you a check and compelling you to do things with money. So we have lots of different buckets of funding, and those things are assigned to the specific measure we're talking about. So our electric dollars are funded to our electric efficiency projects, and natural gas to our natural gas efficiency projects, and so on. We have a board appointed by the governor, and they meet monthly. Jody, could you advance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I do a lot of tabling at events and things, and we've got our brochures, and I'm chatting with Mainers all the time, and this is always a pretty compelling chart that gets people's attention. So you can just sort of see what is the most efficient way to heat your home, what is the least efficient way to heat your home, and where do you fall on this continuum, where do you want to be? So something that is surprising to most people is where this propane boiler and the propane furnace fall towards the end of the graph here. It can be quite costly. And I think the misconception is that those are, you know, propane is a very efficient fuel. It can be efficient per BTU, but the price per gallon is unregulated and can be very costly for a homeowner specifically. Also, on this chart, I want to call out the ductless heat pump. It's the fourth bar in. Efficiency Maine has some really robust rebates and incentives toward heat pumps, heating and cooling your home with electricity. So you can see the electric baseboard is the least efficient way to heat your home. Also with electricity is one of the most efficient ways, just a very different technology. So Jody, can you advance?
Yep.
And this is just going to go into the nuts and bolts of what is available per what measure. So advance to the next. Great. I'm starting off with low and moderate income incentives. That's my focus at Efficiency Maine. And so we've got this chart developed by assessed values. So this program I'm talking about right now is for homeowners who are low and moderate income. There is a $2,000 rebate for heat pumps, a heat pump installation. These county thresholds are you know, what you want to look up. So if you're in Androscoggin County and your home is assessed below 100,000, then you would be eligible for the $2,000 heat pump rebate. Also, that eligibility criteria would grant you the 80% of insulation up to $2,000. So an insulation zone at Efficiency Maine is just what Jody was talking about earlier. The attic, the basement, and the walls are each separate zones of insulation. So that would be 80% of each project. So this is just a quick little financial example at the bottom. If a homeowner wanted to do a heat pump installation and all three zones of insulation, then Efficiency Maine would be contributing $8,500 to that project with a copay of about $2,500. Advance to the next slide, please. And this is just sort of what's available for everyone else. So that those county thresholds, if you exceed those and you're not low income, you know, it doesn't necessarily matter what your income is. If you are going to undertake an efficiency project in Maine, we've got a rebate for you. And Jody, can you switch to the next? And these are just other heating system incentives. Many are instant discounts right at the distributor. So your installer is going to capture that rebate and make sure that they are installing the most efficient model in your home. And then some of these are mail-in rebates. Jody, can you advance? Okay, heat pump water heaters. We are leading the country in our heat pump water heater installations. And Jody had some slides earlier about you know, the efficiencies of those. They are a wonderful option, especially if you're presently heating with an electric resistance tank in your basement. These are cheaper with our Efficiency Maine rebates and certainly more efficient to operate month over month. And this last bullet here, I just wanted to let everyone know for low-income families, Efficiency Maine would pay all of the costs. We would hire the plumber and get that heat pump water heater installed where that low-income family is using an electric resistance tank. It's wildly cost-effective to be using a heat pump water heater. So we've got a special program for low-income families. And next slide. Again, Jody mentioned some appliance rebates. If you are purchasing a clothes washer, you just want to be sure that that is an Energy Star model and save the receipt. There is a mail-in form on our website, and you can just fill that out with a copy of your receipt. Same as the purifier, and Efficiency Maine will send you a $50 check. Next slide. We also have home energy loans as a tool if a family wanted to do, more than one upgrade or was having trouble funding that upgrade. There is this loan product that's a great avenue for a lot of homeowners. And next slide. Federal tax credits, I like to pop this in here. This is outside of what Maine is offering. You want to just be sure that you're, securing all of the rebates possible and getting your federal tax credits. You want to talk to an accountant potentially. Some of these things are cumulative year over year. So this does call out an electric vehicle credit of up to $7,500. Efficiency Maine does rebate electric vehicles now. That is new this year. And so we're really excited about that. If anybody has questions about that, I can answer those a little later. Next slide. And so this is just talking about the different tools on our website. Jody, next slide. So this is how to find a contractor. We call it residential registered vendor. It's really a contractor. So all of the great work that goes on in energy efficiency couldn't happen without those installers and those contractors. So really what Efficiency Maine is doing is we are providing rebates and incentives to either the homeowner or the contractor for that project that's undertaken. So we've partnered with hundreds and hundreds of contractors within Maine to do the work. To be sure that you're using an Efficiency Maine contractor is really important, and that's how the rebates get paid. So we've got this tool on our website, and you can search by zip code. And if you're already working with a contractor, you can just simply ask that question, are you affiliated with Efficiency Maine? If they're not, super easy for them to get listed with us. They just need, some basic credentialing and just getting signed up through our website, and they will populate here. But you can just do a simple search. What measure are you looking for? Are you looking for a heating system upgrade or a heat pump specifically, or an insulation or an air sealing job? You type in your zip code and then you can set the radius and search. It's going to populate by who's done the most for Efficiency Maine on top. So, if one contractor has done, 80 rebates in the past month, they will pop up as number one, number two, number three. So it's vetted in some order, but you can rest assured that they all have their certifications and they're all insured, and they're all vetted in some way. Next slide. We have a ton of information on heat pumps on our website. We've got case studies, we've got financial examples, frequently asked questions, and savings calculators. We are finding, specifically in this pandemic where Mainers can't be traveling and doing other things, that they are investing in their homes. And so the heat pump installation is a very popular one, and certainly coming off the heels of a warm summer, they provide air conditioning, and heading into a very cold winter, as we do year over year, they can heat very efficiently. So this is one of our biggest pushes at Efficiency Maine, is to really get information about cold climate heat pumps out into the public, and there's a wealth of information here on the website about that. And Jody, this may be my last slide. I'm not quite sure. Next slide. Yep. Okay, so again, there's our website. There's a ton of information there. And this is our call center. The call center is staffed in Brunswick, Monday through Friday. And, there's a lot of information on the website. And if you just want someone to walk you through it and talk you through it, those operators are standing by. So
Great.
That's Efficiency Maine in a nutshell. I'm certainly available for any questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Bridget. And I'll do one last piece of this, and then we'll open up the questions at the end if anyone wants to type in the Q&A section. Please hold your questions till then. And then I'm going to do one last section because I think we've all convinced you that weatherization, energy efficiency is so important that you need your community to move forward more rapidly on this. So I want to talk about the possibility of doing an energy efficiency campaign in your town. So quickly, I want to talk about why a community campaign is important, what a community campaign is, what is the role for local volunteers, and what is the role for GrowSmart. So once you have heard all of this information and decided that this would be a great thing for the community, not just for your own home, which is a great thing for also, why is this important? Like I said, it's all about community. It's all about raising awareness. It's about neighbors, helping neighbors. It's about making your community a better place for climate change, for your neighbors' well-being, for your neighbors' economic well-being. So it's really taking a community look at this weatherization and energy efficiency component. So the goal of a community campaign is to encourage as many residents as possible to consider home energy projects. So it's really about neighbor helping neighbor. And it's about kind of community-based social marketing, which focuses on overcoming barriers that limit the reach of traditional marketing and educational challenges, and uses community networks to encourage participants in this program. So instead of somebody from the outside like myself coming in and talking to your neighbors and talking to your friends, it's you and other community members talking to each other and explaining why this energy efficiency projects and weatherization is so important. And what is the role for local volunteers? They provide, in this kind of model that we've set up, they provide a team leader so that they can lead a team of volunteers, and they provide the visibility and outreach. Like I said, community members talking to community members is so much more effective than somebody from outside the community coming in and trying to promote energy efficiency and weatherization. So the other role is for community partners to reach out to early on to the town clerk, to the Rotary Club, to libraries, schools, to churches to help request in spreading this word about the energy efficiency program, and to work with partners throughout the campaign, sending the newsletters out and having those community partners send the newsletters out to their groups and their followers and the people that they connect with. Also connecting with local businesses and reach out to local businesses to get their help in spreading the word and maybe even possibly helping with the campaign. And again, the last role is to host events. So to hold events within the community to explain to the community why weatherization and why energy efficiency is so important and how they can get involved and what's involved and what an energy audit is and how they can even do it themselves. When we first started this campaign, it was before COVID-19. It was all about weatherization, as you see in this little sidebar. But now we're also talking about energy efficiency and kind of do-it-yourself models. And because of the contractors going to people's homes, and some people don't feel comfortable with that, but there's still a lot of things people can do, as both Laura and I talked about, on your own without a contractor. So what is the role for GrowSmart? We're kind of the overall program coordination, the timelines, communication between partners, so that overall program coordination. Also providing outreach materials and some funding. We create and share one-pagers, talking points, web content, campaign information, frequently asked questions and goals and the processes, some information about home performance, much like the presentation I just did earlier. Case studies and success stories and programs and incentives. And we've also trained volunteers and have some money to give for prizes in a program that we are basing this off of. They give $250 to $500 as a kind of prize for once people sign up with a contractor or maybe in this case have done a certain amount of energy efficiency on their own. They enter their name in a drawing, and at the end of the campaign, a name is drawn and they get $250 to $500 towards the work that they've done. So if there's any questions about this program, let me get off of screen sharing so that we can go back and see the question and answers. And I know Gretchen's going to help me with that if I miss any question and answers. See what we have today.
Hey, Jody, there's one question regarding all the presenter slides and information, as well as the recording that's happening. Where can they access, or where can the attendees access the slides and or recording once this is done?
Yeah, they can go to our website, growsmartmaine.org, and after tonight, I will put it up on our website. There is a drop-down tab on our website that is for our forums, and if you go to that drop-down tab, I'll have this event listed. The recording will be there, and all the presentations will be there also.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I just had a quick question, just for, I guess, someone that kind of, or we all are kind of steeped in this energy efficiency and weatherization, but what about the person that's just getting started and doesn't really know where to start? What are some things that they immediately can do to increase their energy efficiency and or weatherize their home? And what are some resources? I know we talked about window dressers and GrowSmart and Efficiency Maine, but are there any other resources that they should be looking at? Or are those kind of the ultimate resources?
Laura and Bridget, you might know the answer to this question better than I, since I've just started kind of new to this field, where you guys have both been probably working in it longer than I have. What do you have any input for that question?
I would encourage people to certainly take advantage of the air sealing component at Efficiency Maine, which is very similar to what Laura is offering with window dressers. Air sealing the leaks and the egregious holes that are happening in your home.
Yeah, just to second what Bridget said, I mean, I hope I'm understanding the question right, but I mean, my understanding, and this is also what Jody said in her presentation, is focusing on the air leaks is really step number one, and then focusing on the living space of the home and the improvements you can make there. And window dressers inserts do help some with air leaks on windows if your windows are really bad. But most windows that are in good shape, especially newer windows that at least have 2 panes, are pretty well sealed. The benefit of inserts is mostly in improving the insulation of the windows, because about 30% of heat loss happens through doors and windows. So you can have significant energy savings by improving the insulation value of your windows.
Gotcha. Thank you for answering that question. Through I guess an energy audit that can be conducted at home, when someone's looking at the house, should they have someone come in, or are there ways that they can do it at home? Currently in the space that we're at right now, again, you mentioned that people might not be comfortable with someone coming in and auditing their house. Are there any resources where they can do a self-audit at home if possible?
Bridget, do you know of any? I don't know of any. Do you know of any?
Yeah, no, at Efficiency Maine, we have, we lean on the contractors to be the experts in the field, and they've got their Building Performance Institute credentials. And so we really want to make sure it's a very cost-effective experience. And so we lean on the professionals to do that for anything that we're rebating. Certainly you can go out and like switch all your incandescents to LEDs like that. That's a DIY project.
Yeah. I mean, and just, and there's certain other things like just weather stripping, replacing, replacing any broken windows or ceiling, that type of stuff, but not the whole energy audit that I know of either.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. All right, those are the only questions I had, and that's all I can see in the Q&A function.
Let's see, there's, someone just said in the Q&A, I just saw there are some folks that do free audits. Mid-Coast Green Collaborative is one such organization. And there's a group in Harpswell that helps elderly folks with building envelope issues.
Oh, awesome, good to know.
Anybody else have any other questions? You said the presentation will be on the website and the PowerPoint slides for everybody, and the video of Lars will be on the website for you to access after this is over also.
Awesome. Thank you, Jody, so much for putting on this presentation, and for our other panelists for being here.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for co-hosting and getting the word out. And
Happy
thank you, Bridget.
Virtually, yeah, in this weird time.
Yeah. We had this scheduled just for everyone's knowledge. We actually had a physical presentation scheduled with Wyndham. I don't know, was it 2 days or 3 days before we had to cancel it? I mean, it was right before March. So.
It was impeccable timing on our parts. So this
Yeah, so this has been a long time coming. So I thank Laura and Bridget for being a part of the presentation tonight. And if you are interested in having a community team, contact us at GrowSmart Maine and at our website, or with my email, which I just had up a minute ago, which I can bring up again. Let me bring that up again just so everyone can see it. And I will leave that screen up at the screen share. So I'm going to go back to share my screen. Sorry, my computer is very slow. Go back. So you can contact GrowSmart Maine or myself at this email, jcostello@growsmartmaine.org, or go into our website, or info@growsmartmaine.org would also work. So thank you all again.
If they are from Wyndham as well, they can reach out to me, the Environmental Sustainability Coordinator, and I would love to have some volunteers to start doing some of this work in Wyndham. I think it would be awesome to have.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and I want to, I'll reach back out to you, Gretchen, too, and talk with you a little bit more in detail, maybe sometime next week.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you taking your time this evening to be with us, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.